we have a couple of things we're going to do today. We're going to do Friday's Heroes and Employee of the Week. And as I always say, every Friday, this is one of my favorite times of the week when we get a chance to talk about the great employees that work for the city of Albuquerque. Folks send their tax dollars into us. It's our job to return those tax dollars to them in the form of great public safety, in the form of great public employees. And we have over 6,000 employees at the city of Albuquerque. And it's just always an honor for me to get together and sing their song and praise the work that they're doing, because they do fantastic work. Before I get started with the official Friday's Heroes Employee of the Week, I just want to send a shout out to the Albuquerque Police Department, APD, and the handling of that car chase yesterday. For those who got a chance to see that situation unfolding live on television, you got to see a world-class police department keeping their community safe. And we'll talk more about that in one of our Friday's Heroes coming up. But I think we all got a chance to see that, and just to have a situation like that unfold without anybody being injured, seriously injured, that could have been a catastrophe. And it was fun to watch some of the news coverage, because even the news coverage, the folks that were commentating on it were like, look at the professionalism of this police department and how they're keeping people safe and getting ahead of the action and doing that. So congrats to everybody at APD that was involved with that incident yesterday. So today we've got another great story coming out of the Albuquerque Police Department. And for those people that don't know, a number of years ago, Chief Schultz and the Albuquerque Police Department put together what we call a COAST team. It stands for Crisis Outreach and Support Team. Jody Jepson is here. She's camera shy, but she's one of our key players in that. And these folks do a lot of great work. And what they really do is they come to the aid of people in our community who are struggling, whether it's with homelessness, whether it's folks who are living with mental illness, or in this case, in the story today, just a young lady who found herself in a very, very desperate situation and just really needed someone to care about her and to help her through a very difficult time. So today what we're doing is we're honoring Coast Officer Joe Chavez, who's here with us, who compassionately handled a very sensitive situation and tried to give a local teenager the help that she needed to get back on her feet. So here's the story. This past October, one of the school resource officers, or SRO officers, from the Albuquerque Police Department actually arrested a girl for stealing from a local grocery store. And you know, she was extremely distraught and she was very remorseful, but she also opened up to this officer and explained the situation. And her situation was that she had been kicked out of her house by drunken parents, and that she was currently living with her unemployed boyfriend, and she was just in some seriously dire straits. So we all understand that the law is the law, and she did partake in illegal activity through her circumstances, but our officers also use their discretion, and they do a good job many, many times discerning between criminal activity and, in this case, desperation. In this case, the girl was in a dangerous place. She was participating in illegal activity, and she was in a great state of need. So when the school resource officer called Joe Chavez from Coast, it was because he realized that this girl had no visible means of support or assistance that she needed. And with those pieces of information, and with his time and on the streets and his understanding of these situations, and with his compassion, Officer Chavez found it appropriate to give her a gift certificate to a local grocery store to help her get up to speed and get her fed and make sure that she got her immediate needs met. And then he also introduced her to our Family Advocacy Center, which is another great resource that the city of Albuquerque has to help her get connected with additional support and to help develop and start the process of developing long-term support options for her in her situations. And these are the stories we hear. We hear them a lot, and they're great stories to tell, because I think people in our community need to know that you know, police work's not always black and white. The cars are black and white, but the work that these folks do isn't always black and white. And I think using discretion in this case to handle a situation, you know, in this manner was absolutely fantastic. We've got Lieutenant Steve Maras here today, and I want to have Lieutenant give us a few more remarks, and then we'll have a Friday's Heroes coin I'd like to give you. So, Lieutenant.
Thank you. Real quick, since the inception of COAST, it has been since the inception of the COAST program. Program itself has been an extremely successful program since the beginning, but there's not a program that can succeed without the individuals behind it. Joe's an example of that. This story, although it's an amazing story, is just a small example of what Joe does on a day-to-day basis. City of Albuquerque, the police department, should be extremely proud, as I am, to have him as an employee. Again, he does this on a day-to-day basis. This isn't anything new to Joe. You should be proud of your dad. He's a very amazing man, and as well as the citizens of Albuquerque should be. So.
All right, Joe. Well, listen, we have the Friday's Heroes coins that we give out for our Friday's Heroes, and I just want to say thanks. One of the things as a mayor, for me, we do a lot of things at the city of Albuquerque, but just seeing the compassion out there and helping those in our community that are in need, and having folks like you on board, it makes all the difference in the world. So, very grateful as a mayor, and the community is very grateful for the great work that you're doing. So, congratulations. Thanks so much. And I believe, Jody, what we're going to be out with the Coast team over the next couple of weeks. What's our survey day, Jody? Is it February
29th and 30th? So next Tuesday and Wednesday.
Next Tuesday and Wednesday, we will be out with the Coast team again, doing another survey for Albuquerque heading home, looking for the most vulnerable in our community, those who are most likely to die in the streets, and we're looking forward to having another great experience. And so anybody that wants to get with us and volunteer for that, call 311. We'll get you in touch with the right folks. Let's bring up Greg Smith and our folks from DMD today and talk about some of our great employees that we have at the city of Albuquerque as well. Come on up, guys. Sometimes people ask me what DMD is, and when was that name changed? About 4 or 5 years ago, maybe?
2003.
2003, we took what most people consider the Public Works Department, and we called it the Department of Municipal Development. I think that was a good move because it really talks about the overarching and broad reach of this department and all the great work that they do. So today, we've got 4 employees of the week here with us. We've got Jeremy Saville is here with us, Peter Baldonado, Marcos Escobar, Herman Sierra, all from our Department of Municipal Development. And their combined quick thinking and immediate response prevented what could have been a very deadly situation and a loss to the citizens of Albuquerque from a taxpayer standpoint. Just 2 months ago in the early morning, these 4 employees were clocking in for their normal shifts at DMD in the traffic engineering building, and that's where they work. And as they're clocking in, they smelled smoke. It was Jeremy who first realized that the fumes smelled like wires burning. If you've ever been around electrical fires, it's a very distinct smell. I can tell you as a contractor, I've smelt that before. None of my buildings ever burned down or anything. But he quickly informed his supervisor and others nearby who joined him to seek out the cause of this stench. Actually, they discovered that the prime heating motor was smoldering and it was very, very close to catching fire. So Peter, who's a trained certified electrician with many years of experience, took it upon himself to lock out the malfunctioning equipment. And that's important when you talk about lockout, tag out in the construction and the maintenance industries. That means something very distinct. He directed his colleagues to evacuate the building, secure the site to ensure that no injuries occurred to the staff in the building. In the meantime, he went up on his own, disconnected the electrical service to the motor, thereby averting a potential structure fire. And I can tell you, electrical fires like this can take off in a big, big hurry. And potential structure fire, as I said. And then he climbed to the top of the building, and he opened up the access hatch on the building so that he could vent the toxic fumes, making sure that the people inside wouldn't be overcome by that. Right after the resolution of that situation, Marcos contacted our facilities department in order to get the appropriate replacement equipment, and he installed it the same day. And as winter weather was upon us, these actions certainly helped minimize the impact of the 55 staff members that work in the Traffic Operations Division, which in turn saves tax dollars, because if we have 55 people who are on taxpayer funded, the taxpayers are paying their payroll that day, and if they don't have a building to work in, it's a day lost. It's a day that we'll never get back. So I just want to thank everybody here for their immediate actions in preventing this fire. Also making sure that you really cared about the other employees in the building. I appreciate you doing that. And of course, like a lot of our departments, and DMD is really at the forefront of skilled craftspeople. We've got people that go out, we've got police officers, we've got firefighters, but we have skilled carpenters, skilled welders, operators. We've got people who run the the street sweepers. All of these things are highly technical skills, and we've got great people that do great work. So with that, I'm going to have Greg Smith come up and say a few more words, and then we're going to give a special gift to our 4 recipients today. Greg?
Thank you, Mayor. At the Department of Municipal Development, we're very, very proud of our employees, and we're very proud of the job that these 4 employees did. Michael Reardon wished to be here this morning, but unfortunately he needed to be at a required meeting on Paseo del Norte design for value engineering. But we're very, very proud of our employees, and we're pleased to have the chance to recognize them. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg. So what we do, and we'll get these all sorted out as we go, for Employees of the Week, we have an Employee of the Week mug. We'll get one of these for each individual. We also have a certificate for Employees of the Week, and then we have a letter for your personnel files thanking you for your extra effort. But what I'd like to do, and I'll have you hold this, is I'd like to give each of you one of our commemorative survey markers that we did last year. Last year, as you know, 2012 was New Mexico Centennial. So we had a really interesting project last year. We decided, in fact, one of our local newspaper reporters thought, well, gee, I wonder where the center of the city moved in the 100 years from 2012 to 2012. So Mike Reardon and the DMD went out and through a surveying effort, they found out where the center of the city was in 1912, and they put the real versions about this big. They put a cast iron survey marker right where the center of the city was in 1912, and then they surveyed the center of the city today and put another marker, did one that said 2012 on it, and so there's a marker for 2012. So these commemorative markers have 1912 on one side and 2012 on the other. I think it's just really a cool deal. So I'd like to have each one of you individuals, gentlemen, have one of these for your collection as well. And,
Thank you.
And we appreciate you very much, and thanks for your doing.
Thank you.
For all you're doing. We appreciate it.